Okay, so we can go ahead and go. Good afternoon or good evening. I guess technically it is afternoon, still in that range, but good evening, Florida 4-H. Very excited to be here with you all tonight. I am joined here. I'll let them introduce themselves. Go for it.
I'll go first. You go
Okay.
more. I'm Amanda Grubel. I am a volunteer with Wakulla County 4-H, and a co-lead with the Future Leaders of Wakulla.
Very nice.
My name is Katie Grubel, and I am the president of Future Leaders Wakulla.
Very nice. I'm excited to have you guys here tonight. I was just
Thank you
talking.
for having us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was talking to you guys a little bit before we got going of just how excited I was to actually talk to you guys. I'd seen your community pride proposals over the year and never actually had the opportunity to connect directly like this. And actually, I was looking through the file. So during my time here, so I started in 2020. And so that cycle of like 2021 to now, and looking back over all the product projects, and I think Wakulla is the one. Now, somebody could come and like correct me, but I think you guys are the one that has consistently done a community pride project every year that I have been here, at least. And so, very excited to pick your guys' brain and hear about y'all's experience with it. With this is our first Ask 4-H about for this 4-H year. So if you're just joining us and you're like, what is this? In general, we are here to talk a little bit logistics, so you have an idea of what is going on with our different events and projects. But we also love to hear the experiences of those that have actually done it, so you can hear from them. Because I could talk about it all day long, but hearing it directly from a 4-H'er and directly from a volunteer is a whole different thing. So with so many years in a row having done it, Caden, I think you've been involved with most of them
Yeah.
over the years, and so I'm curious, like what keeps you wanting to do community pride specifically? Like, what's one of your favorite parts about it?
I would say one of the favorite parts is going out within the community and seeing like the community members and talking to them and being able to see the joy on their faces when they're seeing what's happening and how youth are stepping up.
Absolutely. So they kind of look at you and you're like, yes, this is something we're doing. Like, one of the things that always drives me crazy is when you hear like, oh, kids these days. I'm like, well, you're just not looking at the right kids. Like, or you got a very skewed view. Like I
Mm-hmm.
promise you, give you a 4-H'er and that's gonna change your mind any day. So absolutely. Um, and so we're at the beginning of the school year or the 4-H year, school year as well. And this is a perfect time to get started with a community
Mm-hmm.
pride project if you haven't already been thinking about it. So I'm curious from the volunteer perspective, Amanda, like how do we even start a community pride project? What does that look like?
So for us, our youth actually spend year round speaking to community members, networking with other organizations, really just seeing what the need is and really understanding it. So it's not to us, it's not just a okay, it's coming up, let's decide to do something. It's an all year conversation. Um, over the summer for this year, they really went out and they were going to these events and service projects and everything and saying, really getting deep into the conversations, saying, what do they need?
Mm,
And they brought those conversations back and had a discussion and they decided, where they're going to be going forward from there. So,
yeah. I think the biggest piece that I picked up from what you were just saying was that concept of like what does the community actually need? Like, and I
mhm,
mean, you have a 4-H club, so you have a decent perspective of different things, but even 4-H clubs can be in a very specific area of a county and have very particular mindsets. And so it is really good to get out into the community
mhm,
and bring in or connect with commissioners or connect with local residents, anybody you can think of in your community to actually get that conversation going. And so I'm wondering too, with over the years of you guys doing this, has there been a community connection that's been like particularly really solid for you guys doing community pride projects?
Caden, you want to answer? I mean, how you can explain how you connected further into with KWCB.
So there's been multiple connections. The commissioners here are actually anytime we do our what's it called? When we go out and say whereas the proclamation, there we go.
Proclamation. Yep.
Okay, the proclamation, they really enjoy seeing us coming out and do that and talking the oh my gosh, I'm blanking out. What is it called? Oh my gosh.
It's at the commissioner meetings and at like different events and service projects. Like they really take notice. And we've had, honestly, over the last month, we've had a lot of people coming and saying, "Hey, we love seeing you doing this and this." And it's really making yourself known and seen
Mhm.
out in the community. It's not just about going to a club meeting, it's also about your service.
No,
So,
absolutely. And I think you guys have done really well over the years. And in time in your final reports that I see, it's like somebody wants to pick this up and continue to do this in other ways. So it's not even just a
mhm.
one-time thing all the time. Like it's like
Yeah.
somebody else sees it and they're like, oh, this was really cool. I want to keep doing this in other ways. How can we partner or how can we take this on with y'all support? So I think
Mhm.
that's been pretty cool to watch over the years. Um, so logistically, so if we're looking at that's kind of how you get started, really thinking through what connections are there to make within the community, and then what is actually needed within the community. A couple logistics to think about is one, I did realize that I just jumped into this, so somebody might be sitting there going, "What even is community pride?" You guys are talking about this. At a very high level, this is Florida 4-H's service and learning grant program, and so taking a project and actually thinking through all of the pieces of what does a community need, so what are our assets as a community, what are the gaps in our community, and what can we actually put together as a project to meet those needs. And then planning through that process, we have a online submission process that you will do by December 1st. And so make sure to get that in. And then within that month of December to probably the end of January, we have some judges that go through that. And then you are awarded based on how your proposal ranks amongst all the other proposals. And we get anywhere from 10 to 20 proposals a year. And then the different funding that we have from the foundation, we really do appreciate that funding from the Florida 4-H Foundation because that allows us to continue to support all the projects across the state. And I think this year we awarded 5 to 10. I don't remember exactly.
I'm not sure
Um,
what the numbers
but
were.
you don't have to. So the cool thing is too, you don't have to get the funding in order to keep doing the project. Like the big piece of community pride projects is making those connections within the community. So if there's other ways that you could still continue to do the project, cool. Just because you
Mhm.
don't get the grant money doesn't mean you can't do it. And I think you guys have actually experienced that, correct?
Yes, we
Yes, I
have.
Yep.
can't remember which project it was, but we did a lot of fundraising for it and we were able to pull through with it.
Absolutely. And still had, I think, a successful final report coming in, and it's still a very nice, like, look, we were still able to do this. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and again, that goes back to the community connections that you guys have been able to make, what
Absolutely.
you're doing. So yeah, December 1st is when that proposal is due, and then usually June timeframe. Honestly, it's probably on me. It changes every year because at some point I'm like, I forgot that that date was coming up. But we typically try for a June 1st deadline, but within that June to July that you're sending in that final report. So you're typically looking at a spring time frame of actually implementing the project. And I have gotten this question before. So you can also do a fall project. And you guys were kind of talking about this. So if you've already had funding or you're already doing some things, you can still apply for the service learning grant. And then that money will still come to your county to basically support still the continuing or what you have done. You can be doing it right now and plug into community pride. So whatever that looks like for you, and what your project is and what you're making happen.
Awesome.
And if you're joining us on Facebook tonight, please feel free to throw any questions into the chat box or into the comments. And I have the phone right next to me, so we'll see those pop up there and we can take those as we continue on. So, Caden, so I've talked a lot about the projects you've done over the years. So, talk me through some of those projects that Wakulla has taken on.
So I'll start off with was my first lead project, and that was the cleanup signs and environment awareness raising. And that's where we talked about how brought awareness to the dangers of leaving your trash out. And that's actually what helped me network with Keep a Cola, which I'm actually a youth board member there now.
Nice.
And then the next year was the prom project, where we went to the senior center and we put together a prom for them. The theme was Dash into the 50s, so we made it 50s themed, and they actually liked it a lot. And we did it the next year, and the health department actually helped us with it too.
Yeah,
Then
and we're
the
already planning the third one.
yes,
Nice.
So,
Very nice.
and the final one, which was the I don't think I'm missing one.
deeply
No.
rooted.
Yeah, well, that was next. I'll just make sure I didn't get any more. Deeply Rooted was where we went out into the community and we talked to the elders and people who have lived there for a long time. And we went to different historical locations and we put the stories together so that way it could be displayed at our yearly Wakulla celebration or birthday, our yearly
Hmm.
birthday that we have. And a lot of people actually came out for that event and a lot of people saw it.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
awesome. And if you're looking for any other inspiration beyond just what Caden was talking about, if you type in Florida 4-H Community Pride, our webpage will come up and you can scroll all the way to the bottom to see past projects all the way to, I think 2021 is within that table. And that has the counties that did them and the short description of the projects. Because I know sometimes too, it's hard to sit there and even think like, okay, again, what do I even do?
Hmm.
And so you can kind of look through that through for some inspiration as well. And to see what Caden was just talking about. And I think there was a year you guys, I think you guys got an honorable mention because
Yes.
while you didn't necessarily place top three or top five with Florida 4-H, you guys got recognized by another organization, correct?
Yes, that
Uh,
was the sign project. We weren't able to complete the signs in time, so it kind of held back the process, but it was Keep Florida Beautiful that recognized us.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you guys still have some signs up from that project around Wakulla County, right? Like
Yes.
Yes.
graphic
Yeah. You'll see
design.
them on the beaches and the roadways.
No, that's awesome. It's always nice to see clovers pop up in those places that you don't necessarily expect right away. You're like, oh, that's really cool. So if you're ever
Yeah.
around Wakulla, look for those signs. See some of the community pride funds in action.
Absolutely.
And so, Amanda, what advice would you give to a club doing a community pride project for the first time?
Um, I would say patience is a big one.
Mhm.
Your first time, I know for me it was like a little nerve-wracking. Because you're like you don't know what to do, but don't be scared to ask questions. You
Mm.
know, don't be scared. Like look at the website, read through everything. If you have any questions, ask your agent, ask other volunteers who have done it. Um, you know, have a lot of patience with the kids. Some of them might be ready to go, some might be a little nervous about going. So you got to give the support with everybody. Um, and definitely when you have your lead, talk to your lead and just make sure that they are designating things to youth that will highlight their, you know, what they're good at.
Mm.
And if a kid isn't good at something, but they want to learn, give them the support of it, you know. So it's all about the support of the kids. Um, and for the, you know, for the parents, I know the parents like to jump in and get their hands all on it, but this is all about the kids. You know, let the kids run it, let them do their things. If they need help, they're going to ask you for help, but let them, you know, let them thrive in their
Mhm.
project.
No,
So, but
absolutely.
that's
It
kind
is.
of my advice.
Yeah, it's a really good highlight of that that youth adult partnership within 4-H of like cool. And it's probably honestly even more of a youth led collaboration more than like a true partnership because it is kind of what you were saying like letting the kids do. So okay,
Yep,
go do the thing and then I'm going to be back here making sure that things don't catch on fire. Like I'm
pretty
going
much.
to
Yeah.
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 And even if failure is happening, letting it happen in that space and then being there to pick it up
Yep.
afterwards too. Like um that failure isn't necessarily the worst thing. Now, it is a little different when you're on potentially a larger scale and you've got eyes on you and things like that. But don't necessarily be afraid of it right away either,
Exactly.
because that's part of the learning process, honestly.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, because they're not going to learn if they're not, you know, hands on and, you know, they gotta like be able to step back a little bit and look at what went wrong and then learn from it, you know.
I mean,
So
that's a huge skill set. Absolutely. Yeah. Like
yeah.
what, yeah, that not only the failure, but like, okay, actually thinking through what went wrong here. Now, can we adjust? I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that I see in final reports is talking
Mhm.
about the pivoting that people have to do because they're like, yeah, we came up with this plan, but lo and behold, we're dealing with people and people are messy.
Yep.
So let's now
Yeah,
we have to
everything's not
pivot.
perfect, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
Everything's not perfect. So
Um, And so you mentioned a word that I want to highlight for everybody, but the leads. And so as part of the project, you were asked as part of the submission to designate a youth lead and an adult lead.
Hmm.
So just be prepared for that. Like that can be somebody that is fully in charge of the project, but those will be the people that we communicate with directly, and that will get the notification of the funding. We'll get the reminders to think through different things in the timeline. Another logistic piece to think about is if you do receive funding, that all comes through your county. And so, like Amanda was saying, you definitely want to communicate with your county office just so that they're aware that one, it's being submitted, and that if money is coming, that they know it's coming. And then just working with them on what that process looks like. Like, are they buying things? Like, are you sending them things to buy, or are you buying them and getting reimbursed, or whatever that looks like in your county? And so, definitely making sure to have that conversation with them. And so with the proposal and then with the final report, those are obviously the main pieces, or I guess two big pieces, not the main pieces. Doing the actual project and serving people is the big piece. But as far as like the background logistics of it,
Yeah.
I'm curious. So you guys have had the success, and like we said, also you've had the failure with not getting the funding. And so I'm curious, like those any tips and tricks that you guys have, what you feel like has made your proposals and your final report successful over the years.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say with the funding part, never plan for the funding to come in. Always have your backup plan first. I think sometimes kids just expect, hey, this is going to get paid for, and then you come down to the project and it's like, okay, what do we do now? Always right in the beginning, what fundraising are you going to do? Because if you do get the funding, there's extra things you can add to the project, you know? So do the bake sales, reach out to the community, figure out how you can do that. See if you can get a sponsor, see if there's other organizations that want to like partner with you. There's so many different ways to like do this. So, and that's what makes it a success is being able to like our biggest word, is communication. Always have communication and everything will run a lot smoother.
What I think was something I've seen consistently in the ones that I think get scored higher, definitely receive the funding, things like that, is building off what you were just saying, Amanda. It's like it's absolutely the collaboration within the community as well. Like it's not
Mhm.
just a project that 4-H is taking on and then it's a one and done thing. Like you
Yep.
make those connections within the community, within your community, with other organizations, with
Hmm.
your local government, things like that. That really sticks out because that shows like I don't necessarily need you just doing service so you can brag about it to everybody. But we also know that the larger impact that you can make in a community is when you make all those connections. Because then this
Absolutely.
person has these resources, this person has or knows these people. Like there's it just becomes this whole network. And again, I think that's something that Wakulla has definitely been very successful with over the year. And I think continues to shine in y'all's reporting. Kate, other thoughts on tips and tricks from your perspective?
Well, she covered most of it, but I would say have a good foundation of a team is the
Mm,
biggest thing. When you want to work with people, even not even just knowing them, but just making sure you know who wants to step up and who wants to be there, because I think that's one of the biggest things. And sometimes people will be like, "Oh, I'll be here," but not be there. So you want to make sure you have your team of ready that's ready to go.
Dedication.
absolutely. Yeah, no, having that dedicate, yeah, and not just having it be the youth and adult lead, like because then, like you're
Yes.
saying, that
Yeah.
can fall apart pretty quickly.
Yeah. You don't
Uh,
want to kid like if you have someone walk in and be like, well, I just want my name connected to this project and so it makes me look good, that doesn't really work.
yeah.
You need to have someone who's willing to put in the work and and build that team together because if
Mhm.
you're not, that's where things start to fall apart.
Mm,
So, and when that's falling apart, then you got the other kids taking on more weight that they weren't expecting,
yep,
and that can become stressful.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I think a couple things. I think three things are kind of floating through my brain as I thought about this, as far as somebody that looks at all of the proposals and the final reports that comes in. So one, when you're setting goals, definitely using that SMART format. So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time sensitive. And that's all explained within the proposal, and there's a community pride guidebook as well that explains some of that, but that is a huge piece that I know people get knocked off points all the time for that. And when you're going up against 20 other people for funding, and especially limited funding, like a couple points can really knock you down and then put you to less funding or no funding at all.
Yeah.
And so really thinking through that piece, the budget piece of it, making sure the numbers make sense, make sure the math is mathing. Because I usually sit there and I'll be the one kind of going through. I'm like, okay, you're requesting, let's say you're requesting 500. I'm looking at your budget and it only gets up to 300. So where's the other 200 going?
Yeah.
And so that starts to make those that are reviewing them question that a little bit. And then the other piece we kind of talked about a little bit of making those community connections, but the media piece and the marketing piece of it. Again, I don't want us just doing it to say like, look at all the good things 4-H is doing. But that is a strong piece of showing the impact in the community and showcasing the hard work that is being done. And not only just to get the gold star for 4-H, but to inspire others across across your counties, across the state to see
Mhm.
that. And I think thinking outside of just social media as well. Because the final reports, I'll see a bunch of Facebook posts, but then I don't know how many people that reached. I don't know if that was just in one small spot. And so thinking through sometimes the tried and true methods of the local newspaper, if that's still a
Mhm.
thing, where you're at, or if, or I know you guys got onto local news, I believe, and had a news spot with at least one of
Yes.
your projects or something else related. Um, and local radio. Like there's so many things to think through. And so there's an actual marketing plan that you can think through and put the different pieces. But that's another piece that I sometimes I see that doesn't get thought through at all. And again, that will definitely take some points off. Or if it is thought through, it's pretty surface level. Just like, oh, we're going to post on Facebook a couple times. Um,
Yeah.
and while that is valuable, there's a place for that. Um, Definitely thinking through that a little bit further. Definitely
Go to
pieces.
your commissioner meetings,
Yeah, go to your
announce
commissioner
it. A
meeting.
lot of people are watching those,
Yep,
that's a good starting
absolutely.
point. Do that. Talk, Facebook. You could do Facebook, talk to a local radio station, see if you can get something aired showing that you have this project coming. Talk to your local news. The news people love to showcase youth in their community.
Yep.
Absolutely love it. So,
This
I
will be
mean,
an
there's
easy
a
story to
lot.
pick up. Like,
Mhm.
uh,
Start a podcast. We've been quite successful with our podcasting. And we definitely run all their projects through it.
yep.
So, I mean, that's definitely a way to do it as well.
Contact Wakulla. I'm sure they would love to have you on their podcast. Um, Now you're gonna get a lot of calls and be like, Derby, never say that again, please. We got too many requests now.
That's fine. We absolutely love it. We absolutely love it. We've had some really exciting podcasts in the last year, so
Yeah.
we're always looking to do more.
So if you're sitting there watching this and you're like, huh, this actually kind of seems like a cool thing. Or you came on and you already kind of knew you wanted to do it. And now you're like, okay, now I definitely want to do this. So like I said, you can go to Florida 4-H, our website, and type in Community Pride. You can also search on your web browser just Florida 4-H Community Pride. I will post the actual link in the chat along with this at some point, but that has all of the information that you need. So it takes you through step by step of planning the project, thinking through that, actually submitting all the links to submit through, and the final report. It has the guide that I was talking about, and it has past projects like I was talking about, and it has the most recent top 3 on there, which I believe Wakulla is highlighted on there as well. So you can kind of see some of the projects that they've been talking through tonight. But I would love to see as many project proposals as possible, so that then next year I can be like, hey, I need more funding to do this. More people are wanting to do this. So let's support them in doing the thing. Um, Thank you. And Kaylin actually Kaylin Hilton just put the link in the chat box or the comments of our Facebook Live currently. So appreciate that, Kaylin.
Awesome.
And we have John Rutledge that was on. He said sometime he wants to talk to the Wakulla kids about the Youth Looks at Aging project from 50 years ago. So maybe a
Hmm.
potential connection to think through. I think that
I
connected
mean,
probably what you guys were talking about earlier, deeply rooted.
okay,
Hey, that could
yeah.
be a
I
possibility.
mean, yeah. Let
Yeah.
us know. We're definitely we'll get the kids in communication.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely get you connected to Mr. John or Dr. John. He's with our Florida 4-H Foundation.
Awesome.
So he actually used to be in the position that I'm currently in. So he probably was connected with Community Pride at some point in his career too. But no, I really appreciate you guys joining us tonight. I appreciate those that joined on
Thanks for having
Facebook.
us.
Yes,
Absolutely. This was fun.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I really do appreciate it. It's cool to pick y'all's brains. And again, I'm excited to actually connect with you guys. And so if you have any questions about Community Pride, you can also reach out to 4-H events at ifas.ufl.edu, and we'll get back to you there. And would love, again, to see as many proposals as possible. So thank you guys, and
Thank you.
we'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.